Senate has approved amendments to the Electoral Act endorsing the electronic transmission of election results while allowing manual collation as a backup. This decision follows intense public debate triggered by an earlier version of the amendments, which some CSOs, opposition figures feared could undermine transparency and open the door to manipulation. Now, under the reviewed section, presiding officers at polling units are to electronically transmit results to the IRF portal after voting and documentation are completed. To shed more light on the changes and address the concerns they have generated, we have two guests tonight. But first, I'll speaking with Dr. Epelle, President of Africa. Dr. Epelle, thank you very much for joining me on the program tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. Thank you so much. So you were part of those saying we no go agree on television. You were reacting to what the Senate had earlier passed. So what is different with this new development? Do you see the approval of e-transmission with manual backup as a genuine reform? Are we good?
No, we're not. No, we're not. We're not. There are another most dangerous element to what they have done, and it's very critical in the sense that there are some elements that they are introducing that would become a huge legal issue going forward. And if you look at the clause of what they did today, it's very disturbing, very disturbing. I would read from an analysis that I put together just to give your viewers the context. The evening statement that civil society released this just a few hours ago, there is an element in what they released, which is the failure clause, which will create dangerous ambiguity. If you check what happened, they use the language they provided in what they released. They say, provided if it fails and it becomes impossible to transmit. This is introducing a very troubling discretion in the result management process. The bill does not define what constitutes failure, how such failure is to be documented, or what verification mechanism must apply. In the absence of clear safeguard, this clause risks creating a loophole that could undermine the very purpose of electronic transmission. Now, the second thing is the Form EC8A as a primary source, which will obviously produce the question of hierarchy. Designating Form ECA as the primary source of result may confirm that polling unit results are legally important. However, it raises concern about the legality and enforceability of electronically transmitted results. If the electronic copy is not treated equally, its value as a transparency safeguard could be weakened. This is the major issue in what the Senate have done, which will create what we term in democratic space in Nigeria a lacuna, or in any legal document, a lacuna. These are things that is not well explicitly explained that will become very troubling and create a major issue as we go forward. So what the Senate have done today is to present a beautiful egg, but inside is rotten.
So, I mean, realistically speaking now, Dr. Epelle, how realistic is it that there is no lacuna at all in all that we do? I mean, we're in a society that is digitally flawed. What exactly is the challenge here? Is this about giving room for discretion, or what exactly would you consider as the major challenge here going forward?
Well, the major challenge is that we have a process that should be transparent. We have people we have elected that should carry the ideals of democracy and carry the aspiration of the people who elected them. The right thing can be done. The House of Representatives came to the rescue, and what they have presented is far better than what the Senate is doing. So if you ask me, I will say, simply put, let us stick to mandatory electronic transmission as passed by the House of Representatives with proposed modification. Now, let me read out the modification. It says the designated election official shall electronically transmit all election results in real time, on the line, in real time, including the number of accredited voters directly from the polling unit and collection centers to a public portal, and the transmitted result shall be used to verify any other result before it is collated. I mean, simply put, this is the way forward. The other thing that we are asking as civil society is for them to adopt this position of the House of Representatives, which approves downloadable missing and unused voters card to prevent potential voter disenfranchisement. Now, the other issue which we can discuss in the course of your program is the INEC timeline, which is very, very important. The argument that INEC has to wait for the Electoral Act 2026 before they announce the timeline does not hold waters. INEC can go ahead and announce it, whatever law that comes out eventually that changes that, supersedes the previous law with the announcement, and they can amend. There have been times in this country where election timeline was announced, at least during Goodluck Jonathan, and it was reversed. And heaven did not fall. Nigerians understood, and we had a good election. So I think my good friend, the ANEC chairman, needs to come out and announce the timeline and wait for House of Assembly. If they make amendments, will adjust. Nigerians will understand. Already, INEC is struggling with confidence of the people, the deficit of confidence of the people. They shouldn't compound their problem. They should try as much as possible and win back the confidence of the people. Many of us are in the field ensuring that, and of course, I've always said it times without number, when it comes to my constituency, inclusion, INEC still remain the best institution in this country in terms of the framework for inclusion. The problem is always what happens in the field, which, it's a bit understandable. However, we should get the best. So what the Senate have done today is not a rescue mission. It's something that we need to continually put pressure on them and appeal for them to do the needful. I don't believe in abusing anybody. I don't believe in discrediting anybody. I believe that they can do the right thing if they want to, and they should do it now, because now is the right time.
All right, let me quickly ask you this, because I see that you've moved on to other amendments, but we'll come back to that in a moment. Dr. Epelle, is it practicable to transmit results electronically in real time across all the registered polling units in this country? And we're talking about over 170,000 of them. Is it practicable?
Jumoke, you're a very smart journalist, and I will answer you. Simply put, I'll answer you based on data. A couple of years ago, the House of Assembly invited both INEC and NCC to come and present to them. One, NCC to verify that it is practicable, it is possible to transmit results. by how much network data that they have across the country. The data presented like 5-6 years ago shows that the network capacity across the country, that 93%, this is data that is in the public space, 93% of places where network can operate abounds in this country, 93%, 93%. Then, talk less of now. I'm sure it's possible to say we have 97%. Now, that's data science. But practically, come on, Jumoke, you can tell that if you take a poll, almost everyone from 18, 16, they have phone in their hands. Almost everyone. Do something now. Pam is on X handle, is on Facebook, you know. So many network connectivity is not an issue. We are properly.
Is this you being honest, Dr. Epelle? Is this you being honest? I mean, we have rural
honestly,
areas in this. I mean, Nigeria. Can you hold on, sir? Nigeria is not just about Lagos. It's not just about Abuja. It's not just about Port Harcourt. In faraway Maradun local government in Zamfara State, somewhere in Okeposi in Epelle, that's even in Lagos, there are still network challenges. So that's why I'm asking about the practicability of this agitation.
Fantastic. Jumoke, I've been on the road. I don't just fly. I go on the road. You know, there's literally anywhere you go. If you do, the most you can do is 5 miles and you lose network. And before you know it, you're back on network. So what I'm saying is, in terms of connectivity, we may not be there perfectly 100%, but in terms of connectivity in this country, we've scored more than 93%. 93% is the benchmark, is the data that is there in the public space. However, I believe we have more than 93%. Jumoke, you know the issue is not network. The issue is that there are some people that are apprehensive, sometimes afraid of their own shadow, you know. And I want to say this, you know, that it's very important that all of us be very careful, because 2027 election can be a good election. But we don't want to create something that will begin to create unnecessary legal tussle, unnecessary lack of credibility. We don't want that. We don't want something that will create problem, and then everything will linger. If the current leadership is doing well, let them go to the pool, prove themselves, and win and continue. You understand? So let's not create something that peradventure, a particular person, whoever, or whether he's a sitting.
But Dr. Epelle, that was you insinuating that. I mean, the ruling party is insistent on this because it may favor them. I mean, every politician in Nigeria is liable to rigging, whether you're in the ruling party, whether or not you're in the ruling party. So I do not think
I'm not mentioning name.
I mean, that's you insinuating.
No,
I just needed to
interject.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Just go ahead.
I'm sorry to interject. Yeah. No. I'm not mentioning name. Okay. I'm not here to speak for or against the ruling party. No.
All right. So let's talk about other amendments. We're looking at the permanent voter card remaining the sole mandatory mode of identification at polling units. What's your response to that? How have you received that? I mean, a major concern is whether the PVC system alone can handle the volume and complexities of our election in Nigeria.
Over time, it has shown that it cannot. Okay. So if we have an alternative that is workable, that does not in any way undermine the integrity of election, why not? If we want to explore the issue of downloadable voter card, fantastic, it works. There are security check on it. most Nigerians have their phone, have their printer. They can even don't even bother to print, but download it on their phone and use it. Why not? You know, okay, for instance, I have a voter's card. It's peeling off because there was a duration which it will last, and then it will start weighing out. Mine is weighing out already. So if we have a credible alternative, there's nothing wrong with it.
So if you were to advise
Absolutely
the Senate, the electoral umpire, what alternative option would you recommend?
If I'm electronic, if I work for INEC, which I probably will never work, you understand? But what would be my alternative? Downloadable voter card. It's feasible, it is practicable, it's affordable, and
is this safe?
It's accessible.
Accessible, but is it safe?
It is safe.
How safe is it, Dr. Epelle?
Well, my dear, it's as safe as you having your passport on your phone. Jumoke, don't you have that? Don't you have your passport, the picture of the passport, your passport information on your phone? Don't you? You do. I can answer the question. You do. I do. I do. It's as safe as that. What's wrong with that? If you can take your, if I have been in places where I didn't have access to my passport information, and I called my personal assistant. Please send it to me. They send it to me. I sent it to the hotel. The hotel prints it in full color. There's nothing broken, nothing missing. So all this going back and forth, all this going back and forth, they need to be careful so that it doesn't create, unnecessary bureaucratic process that could undermine the integrity of our electoral process and democracy. I think that looking at things from all perspectives, maybe, who knows, the ruling party or President Bola Ahmed may have a chance, but let them not create something that would further erode his opportunity, or maybe he goes ahead to win, and then there's an integrity issue, there's credibility issue. You don't want to do that, So be it as it may, let us have a clean, transparent process that nobody, even
Dr. Epelle, let me put you on hold. Right, let me put you on hold. We have to go on a break now. When we return, we'll look at other amendments. Please stay with us, everyone. Welcome back, everyone, and thank you very much for staying with us on the program. If you're just joining us, this is Politics Tonight, and I've been speaking with President of TAF Africa, Dr. Epelle, as the Senate has earlier today approved the electronic transmission of election results to the Independent National Electoral Commission's result viewing portal, while permitting manual collation to serve as a backup where technology fails. Dr. Epelle, thank you very much for your perspectives on the program. So, other questions Nigerians are asking the Senate is, what prompted the Senate to replace the smart card reader with the Beaver system? Is this sustainable at all, Dr. Epelle?
Well, I think when we make laws, we need to be very careful what names, either names of gadgets or systems that we're mentioning in our laws, because those things can change. When you have things like IREV, beavers being mentioned in our legal clauses, tomorrow, if those things become either obsolete or they are no longer in existence or the system have changed, it becomes very difficult, because any smart lawyer can say, well, in the law that you're using to prosecute. Beavers was mentioned, but today we don't have beavers. It can become a problem, you know. So there's a need to begin to think in the direction of using generic acronym, something that stands the test of time, you know. So I don't believe that we should be particular about a certain systems that we're using a nomenclature to designate them. Because, like I said, over time, you will discover that some of those systems become obsolete, is no longer used. It's like, let me give you an instance. A situation where if we're talking right now, and you start mentioning IBM, even today's generation doesn't even know IBM, you know, or you insist we must put Apple. What if tomorrow Apple goes underground? You know,
right.
So I think we need to think in the direction of systems, descriptions that replaces nomenclature, so that when those things are no longer in existence, it will not be a problem for us.
All right, Dr. Epelle, let me put you on hold now while I bring in Senator Yemi Adaramodu. In the meantime, you can take a glass of water. Senator, good evening to you. Thank you very much for joining me on the program.
Good evening, my dear sister.
Good evening, sir.
My dear
So
sister.
there was, good evening to you. Thanks a lot for joining us. So there was an emergency session today. What can you tell Nigerians about what was decided today on the floor of the Red Chamber? What is the difference between what was in the, can you hold on, sir, what was in the Electoral Act 2022 and what was amended today? Please go on.
Yes, and especially clause 60 sub 3, which have been very contentious, which our fellow patriots and compatriots have been talking about at least for some time now. That is the issue of collation of election results after voting, especially at the voting unit. So before it used to be that the INEC can decide on whichever ways or whichever means they want to collate and then transfer results of elections at the polling units. But we know that about 3 years ago, during the 2023 general elections, then we had a lot of hulabaloo, a lot of arguments up and down that yes, INEC promised that they are going to put IRF there. There's going to be a portal which they are going to maybe transmit or transfer or send the results of polling units of voting to, and that INEC did not fulfill it. And then some people went to court, and then the court said, no, you cannot just come to court with this thing because it is not stated expressly in the law books that IRF portal should be a portal that should be relied on in collating results at the polling unit. Just today, we now put paid to it. We put a stop to that kind of argument, and said that INEC, after election, as represented by the presiding officer, can now count votes. After voting, then count votes. After counting the votes, enter them into Form EC80 as it had always been. And then the results that had been entered into the Form EC8A should be transmitted to the IRF portal of INEC. The IRF portal should be transmitted, not transferred, to the portal for everyone to see it. And that result that had already been entered into Form EC8A still stands as a backbone, as a support vertebrae that we stand with that IRF portal transmission, so that where there is any problem, maybe network, because when you are making law, you have to consider the ecosystem. You have to look at it that yes, in some places there could be network failure, there could be hacking. You cannot just anything that is technical, anything that is technological, they definitely can be tampered with, because it's human beings that deal with it. And then even when we talk about this technology, we talk about technical things. It's always garbage in, garbage out. It is what you put in there that you will see as a result. So we say that the formation that was generated by all at the polling unit, signed by the presiding officer, countersigned by all the poll class and the polling agents of all the parties and the candidates that contest in an election, then that one should be a standby proof that what is transmitted into the IRF is the truth and only the truth. So that's what we did today.
All right. Thank you, Senator. You know, those who were protesting, I'm talking about CSOs and opposition politicians, they say they were out there because the National Assembly had a duty to fix the gap in the 2022 Electoral Act. And Dr. Epelle, who is my first guest and still on the program, says, I mean, according to him, it says what the Senate had done today is still in the interest of the political actors and not in favor of poor Nigerians. And I'm sure he's listening to you tonight. But in retrospect, what exactly was the Senate worried about? Because you have emphasized network challenge. Is it just about network connectivity? Because for them, they say this is more political. Senator.
Now, what is, okay, now, let me ask you a question. What is there now that we can say we fear? Number one, it has never been embedded in the electoral law that IRF should be compulsorily used. But now we are put it there, and the word shall is used. The word shall is used, meaning that both in spirit and in letters, IRF is now compulsory to be used. And then what is bad in saying that there should be another means of even ensuring that if there is each in one, then the other one will not have each. And then it means that anybody who has any problem with any election result can go to court and use IRF portal results or reports as evidence. So unlike before that, it was never an evidence. And you know, even when we say that, some people are saying, oh, that is not enough. Then some people are saying that is enough. So that is the beauty of democracy. People will always say what they want and what they think, and then what they think, what they envisage. They will always do that one. Laws are not made on impulse. Then when you are making law, you have to look and consider the ecosystem. You look at the ecosystem in the sense that some people will just say, okay, since all these days, the network should have been perfected, and so on and so forth. We said that it is the duty of the National Assembly to make laws based on speculation.
Senator,
that
you talked about ecosystem. Yeah. You talked about ecosystem, but according to Dr. Epelle, who monitors elections very well, I mean, we must give that to him. It says, as a nation, we are at a 98% connectivity driven. Isn't that...
How much percent? How much percent?
It says 98. Dr. Epelle, are you listening?
Okay,
yes.
Yes.
So isn't that good for us as a nation?
In the document that was submitted to the Senate is 93%.
Okay, 93%. So isn't that good for us as a nation?
93%. Who did that finding? Who made it? Who did it? What's the authority of the
So, Senator, hold on. Let me allow him. Dr. Epelle, kindly hold on. Please let me moderate this. Kindly hold on, sir. So, Dr. Epelle, kindly react to Senator's question. Who did these findings?
The distinguished Senator, it was done by NCC.
Sir.
And it was done by NCC, submitted to House of Representatives, is a public document. Senator, I respect you. However, I differ to say that what you people did today doesn't have problem because you did not define what is the description of failure to transmit that the from EC8A becomes the authentic result.
We defined it. We are, sir, with apologies,
all right.
Sir, we defined
all right,
it.
Senator.
We said network.
All right.
Communication failure. That is network failure.
That is network failure.
We didn't just say failure. And moreover, everybody in the polling unit will not be only 2 or 3 or 5 people. There will be so many people, several people in the polling unit. If 20 parties contest an election, then there will be 20 party agents. Then there will be the poll clerk, 2 of them. Then we have a presiding officer. Even the voters are expected even to wait to see the counting of votes. And then after counting of votes, they see it being recorded. Ordinarily, if a presiding officer says there's network failure, everybody there, almost everybody in Nigeria now has an asset. Then everybody will know that it is not true, that there's network failure. So definitely, the presiding officer will transmit immediately. It will transmit immediately. It's still the same thing. But the only thing is that...
Dr. Epelle, please hold on. Please hold on, Dr. Epelle.
Sir. Okay.
Senator, please go on, sir.
Okay. Now, like a beavers, despite the fact that we have 93% coverage of a network in Nigeria, beavers do fail, and then like Section 47 of the Electoral Act, we say that where beavers fail, and then it cannot accredit, then you cancel the election there. So are now telling me that if there's coverage up to that 93%, beavers will be failing. So now, if beavers fail and we cancel, are we now going to say that when 1,000 people vote in the polling unit, after voting and after counting, and they now want to transmit to the IREF, and then network fails the way a beaver fails, because it's going to be the same beaver machine that we are going to use in transmitting the election results. So if it fails, then it means that you cancel the votes of 1,000 people. Is that what we want?
Because one of the major challenge, kindly hold on, you would respond in a minute, please, Dr. Epelle, because one of the major concerns has been that is the electoral body technically and logistically ready to implement electronic transmission nationwide. And in the event of technical failure, gentlemen, please hold on. Yes. In the event of technical failure, how quickly can manual collation take over without causing delays or disputes? Let me go back to Dr. Epelle. What exactly is your challenge with what Senator just said?
Well, the challenge is that distinguished Senator, respectfully, sir, you know how politics and politicians behave in Nigeria. Network failure that is not properly defined, properly situated, properly claused, can become a means by which they will manipulate the system. So invariably, you can come up to say there was a network failure when you know that the result did not favor you.
So, Dr. Epelle, that's you preempting the situation. I mean, network failure is network failure.
Sir, I want to ask a question. I want to ask a question, sir. Is it the senator that is contesting, that is going to be the presiding officer in about 1,000 polling units of his senatorial district, that is the one who will say there's network failure? Is it the politician that is contesting? That will be the presiding officers of all the about 1,000 polling units of his constituency or senatorial district? Is it the presidential candidate of a party that is contesting? Will be the presiding officers of about 176,000 polling units in the federation that is going to say that there is network failure? Is it? It is not. So the politician is exonerated. It's not. So it's out of this.
So Senator Adaramodu,
sir, let me ask a question, sir. Okay.
Let me answer him.
Before you answer him, Dr. Epelle, I mean, Nigerians are watching and listening to you today. It's been 3 days or 4 days of this back and forth. Senator, so as you speak to Nigerians today, what reassurance does the Senate offer voters who feel the system works against them? I mean, you heard Dr. Epelle already insinuating Nigerians who feel the system works against them, not for them, especially after days of back and forth over these electoral amendments. And some Nigerians are so convinced that electoral reforms are shaped by the political interest of lawmakers.
I want to ask a question from him. The question is this. Now, in a polling unit, where after election, after voting, and they count manually, because we are not voting we are not voting electronically. If we are voting electronically, all votes would have been going to that portal and be recorded instantly. That is there. Now we are voting manually. After voting manually in the polling unit, and then form ECAT is generated before everybody by the presiding officer, and all party agents, all agents of candidates are there, and now they collect their form ECAT copy. Even with only with that form ECAT copy, they can even tell their principals that this is our result in this polling unit. That one is even supposed to be enough, but we go further and say that, look, let us now go technological. We now are going technological. Whatever you have generated from the polling unit, which has already been recorded into the form ECAT, now let us transmit same. Let's transmit same to the IREF portal. So once it is in the IREF portal, now it is, and we use the word shall, meaning that it is going to be a potent weapon in any law court, in any tribunal, any day, any time, for anybody to rely on and prosecute his or her own case if that person thinks he or she has been cheated in an election. So why are we now afraid? Why are we afraid? Because if your party agent has collected your form ECAT, interact with him, and he holds it, and then police, he holds it, and there is another IRF report that is just supposed, and then the results are the same. Then if the result is not the same, then that your party agent must be able to explain it. And it means that if the results are not the same, then there's a problem. Then the court we rule. That is when we know there's a problem in that polling unit, and then it can be cancelled. But do you cancel a polling unit where about 1,000 people have voted, and you now say because of each, like a beavers machine, we have glitch many times, which we all know. Even those of us that we are holding assets, even in Abuja here that I live,
all right,
there are so many times, 30 minutes, 50 minutes, that the network will not be, the network will be very, very unstable. So definitely, if it is done in that period, that an election is done, then what happens? Then if that network is erratic that time, because you know that as at that time, between 3 p.m. and 5 p.m., there's going to be a lot of traffic on the network. Then if there's any problem, then how do we go about it? If half of a constituency, there's such a problem, do we cancel the result of that constituency? And then we go ahead and declare the half of this constituency as the votes that we generate for the whole constituency. Then what kind of leadership are we choosing from it? Then why are we afraid of it? We are talking about electronic. Initially, we were talking about electronic transfer. People said no, they want transmission. We put transmission. We then said that let us back it up with another means. That if there is any problem, this is if there is any problem. And while voting, it's not only the presiding officer that will sit down there in the polling unit. He is not the only person. It's not that you will vote, you will go home, and then you will leave it for the presiding officer alone. That your party agent will not be there, and that you are excused away from that place, that you cannot even monitor the result of your vote. It is not. A law has not been made like that. Do we make law utopianly to the extent that nobody will be able to criticize it? Laws are made. Laws are done. Not that some people will have their own thinking of
all right, Senator.
Law.
I guess that should do. Right.
They have what they think a law should look like and what a law should be. But law, the crucible of making law, is not on purpose. It's not emotional. It's not on emotion. It's not on emotions.
All right.
So it is about the ecosystem.
So, gentlemen, even in America, there were glitches during the election. Up to today, American election is still being disputed. All right,
up to today,
Senator. So even if we spend the whole of today addressing this particular concern, I do not think both of you can ever be on the same page. But Dr. Epelle raised other concerns before you joined us, Senator. And that's about the reduction of election timelines. I mean, for a country still struggling with voter education, You and I know how poly-rated we are when it comes to this. Structurally weak.
About that, my sister.
I must say.
Yes, we have. Yes, in the Senate, we thought we should reduce the time that politicians who had already been elected, who are now having responsibilities, who are having the mandate of the people to perform, to deliver, and to do some things, that we should not distract them and allow politics to consume the good time that they are supposed to be delivering to the people, to their constituencies, to their states, and to the federation. But this one, I can even say it is still even conjectural, because we are still going to the conference. There are still going to be a conference committee. That is a committee that is formed, that will be populated by members of the House of Representatives and senators, who will now sieve and then look at the two versions from the two different chambers together, and then get a midstream of it, and then give us the final report. In fact, what we are even doing, the argument that we are having now, we will still go and canvass some other areas, some other gray areas that might arise while they are doing the conference meetings. So we are still going to that.
All right.
So
the other matter is about...
That's the way we look at it at the Senate.
All right. I'm coming to you in a minute. Please pardon me, Dr. Epelle. Senator, in a country where Nigerians regard vote trading, vote buying and selling as the biggest threat to achieving electoral integrity in this country, why did the Senate consider a 10-year sentence excessive?
No, for us, even if somebody is jailed for 30 minutes, it's an ex-convict. Then there is punishment for an ex-convict. That means that person cannot hold public office. That person is banned for a period of time. That person is already stigmatized, even in the society. That person cannot contest an election, even if it is 30 minutes that somebody is jailed for. So we think that, yes, that could be enough, 2 years, 5 million naira, or both, or any of the two. It used to be 500,000 naira, and then just some few months or 2 years before, and then we just increase that fine, because we know those people that are selling votes. Those people that are selling votes, if they say 500,000 naira, if they now, maybe about 50 people were apprehended, then definitely they will not be able to even pay that 5.
But you know, for a politician, 5 million naira, Senator, you know, for a politician, 5 million naira is chicken change, and I don't think Nigerians would ever be convinced about that. You know, it's chicken change. But quickly, Senator, I do apologize.
Are councillors not politicians?
They are.
Are councillors not politicians?
5 million naira is still chicken change to them.
So you want to tell me that a councillor,
Senator,
because of
Senator, we must go, but it's important for me to...
We now go and pay 5 million naira.
Okay, but it's important for me to also give Dr. Epelle 30 seconds for a final submission. Dr. Epelle, please go ahead. 30 seconds, please.
Yes, Senator, respectfully, sir, we elected you all to go there and represent us. And it is in the best interest of democracy for you to listen to what the people are saying and go out there and carry out the aspiration of the people, not a handful of individuals in the red chamber.
All right,
we are Nigerians.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Epelle.
What is needful.
Yes, thank you very much for that. I've been speaking with Senator Yemi Adaramodu, Senator representing Ekiti South Senatorial District, also Chairman, Senate Committee on Media and Publicity. Also with me on the program is President of Africa, Dr. Jake Epelle. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me on the program. Please have a great evening. Good night, sis.
Thank you.
And you too, good night. And good night, Senator.
Good night.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much for watching, everyone. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But before we go, let's tell you that the views and reactions of our resource persons are theirs and have no connection with TVC News. Meanwhile, you can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode at 12:30 a.m. Get in touch with us at our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, and X at TVC News NG and at Olajumoke using the hashtag Politics Tonight. We're also on YouTube at